So welcome back once more, and as they say, third time is a charm. So if you're not already practicing yoga, today's probably a good day to just breathe. So taking those hands then back to the thighs, we'll try one more time. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, just close the eyes. Just settle yourself into the breath, breathing in, and big breath out. With each out breath, try and let go of any stress in the body. Just relaxing through that face. Let the shoulders come away from the ears. And this time as you inhale, open up the eyes, gazes once more forward for me. So we're going to take the hands out in front. So just palms down here. We're just going to bend the hands towards you, straighten them out, towards and straighten. Don't worry how far you can go, it doesn't matter. 2 more then. Last one. Leave the hands out, just make a fist with the hands and turn the knuckles towards the forearms for me then. From here, we're just going to take the arms side to side. So chin is still off the chest, heart is lifted. 2 more then. And just return the hands to still before dropping the arms to the side, bringing the hands down to the mat and coming into that tabletop position, which you should now be familiar with. So just making sure the fingertips are spread and the wrists are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips for me. And just press down through the palms, engaging through those shoulders. Try not to slump through that back, so staying nice and strong, hearts lifted, gazes to the mat, and bellies pulled in. Stay pressing down through the palms, strong through those shoulders. 2 more breaths here then. Just engaging through the back, keeping that line between the tip of the head and the base of the tailbone nice and straight for me. 2 more. And this time then, as you inhale, dip the back, look forward into cow. Inhale, round through the back, chin towards the chest, into that cat posture. Inhale forward. Exhale round. 2 more then. And exhale. Last one. And exhale. Just holding here in cat, still pressing down through the palms, chin towards the chest, belly's pulled in. And come back into that tabletop position. So just check for me then that the back's nice and straight. Nice straight line between the crown of the head and the tip of that tailbone. Pressing down through those palms. Just connecting the body and breath. And just relax those elbows a little bit for me. So just taking those knees to the outside edge of the mat, bringing the big toes together. Just push the weight back. So we're coming into child's pose then. So bringing those forearms and palms down to the mat and just resting the head down if it goes. If not, don't worry, you can just stay on those palms. Just trying to relax through the shoulders though, keeping the weight sat back towards the heels and concentrating once more on the breath. And then when you're ready, let's inhale ourselves back into that tabletop position then, so straightening off those knees for me. And from here, we're just going to take that right hip towards the right elbow, and then left to left. So imagine you've got a little tail, and you're just wagging side to side. Just giving a stretch through the side of the body. Try not to hold your breath. Knees stay grounded. Check that hip area's moving for me. And bringing it back into center, where I'd like you to draw those knees together if it's comfortable. Just tuck the toes. Just use the hands to bring yourself up. So sitting up nice and tall, heart shines forward, shoulders away from the ears. Just giving a stretch through the feet. Breathing in and breathing out. Pulling up nice and tall. Try not to slump through that back. Chest stays lifted. Take one more breath in here. And as you exhale, let's return ourselves back into that tabletop position for me. So untuck those toes and extend that right leg out. And once more, tuck the toes on the right and just give a little bit of a press to that right heel for me. Hands are pressing into the mat, the fingers open, hips are nice and straight. And let's draw that right knee back in, placing it back to the mat. Extend that left one out for me. Gaze is down towards that floor. And bringing that left knee back in. Tuck the toes one more time. And slowly lift the hips up to bring yourself into downward facing dog. Now don't worry if the heels don't go to the floor. It doesn't matter. If you need to keep those knees soft, that's absolutely fine. Whatever feels good for you today. Fingers, however, stay open. Palms press into the mat. Just breathing in and breathing out. 2 more breaths here then. And then when you're ready, I'd like you to walk the hands back towards the toes for me to bring yourself into that forward fold. So again, if you need to keep the knees soft, absolutely fine. Just hold in here. And from here, bend those knees a lot just to rest the chest or the belly on towards that thigh. Upper body hangs nice and loose into that ragdoll type position here. So just letting go of the tension. Head is heavy, bum presses back. 2 more breaths then. And then when you're ready, as you inhale, just straighten those legs up slightly to wherever you feel comfortable with. If you're not already at the front of the mat, just walk yourself a little bit further forward, just to give you that space to step the right foot back for me. Once that right foot stepped back into that lunge, I want you to drop the knee to the floor and untuck the toe and just check that that left knee is above the left ankle. So we're just going to press down through the fingertips or the palms if you can get them to the floor, whichever you feel comfortable with today. 2 more breaths here then. And then you're just going to tuck those toes on that right side, just giving a press through the front of that foot again. And then just push the weight of the bum back slightly to allow you to step that left foot back for me. So we're back into that tabletop position. So just checking your alignment before stepping that right foot forward for me. So right knee above that right ankle, hands or fingertips press down into that mat for me. Just giving a stretch through the back. If you find that it is absolutely impossible to get the fingers or the palms down, you can always use some blocks to rest your hands on, some towels, whatever you've got available. So make sure that right knee is above that right ankle for me. And then pushing the weight of the bum back, let's step that right foot back for me. So just come back into that tabletop position, hands, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, and extend that left arm out to the side before threading it underneath the right to bring that left shoulder down to the floor. Now the right hand can stay exactly where it is, or it can stretch out across the mat just to give you more of a stretch through the right side of the body. Hips stay high, big toes stay together. If you want to, you can close the eyes, concentrating on the breath. And as you inhale, just walk that right hand back towards you if it's not already there, and bring yourself back into that tabletop position. Right arm extends out to the side, threads underneath the left to bring the right shoulder to the floor, and your choice of where that left hand goes, exactly where it is or stretches out in front of you. Again, bringing the attention into the breath. And then when you're ready, bring that left hand back under the shoulder if it's not already there, and return the right hand back to the floor to bring yourself to tabletop before tucking the toes, lifting those hips up, and coming back into downward facing dog. So once you're in downward facing dog, if you want to, pedal through the legs, just bending those knees one at a time, taking the hips side to side if that feels good. And bringing it back into still for me if you're moving those legs. Just holding here. And then once more, walk the hands back towards the toes for me, coming back into that forward fold. So holding here in forward fold. If the feet are completely together, just take them about hip width apart just to give you a little bit more stability. Bring the arms around behind the back, clasp those fingers together, and just lift those arms as high as you feel able to. Just opening up through the chest and back. And if you've been sat at a computer all morning, you should give it a nice stretch. Maybe feeling a little stretch in the shoulders. And keeping those fingers linked for me. Bend the knees a lot to rise up to standing cobra. So as you rise up, press the hands down and away. So the shoulders come away from the ears, chest opens. Staying soft through the knees. From here, as you inhale, hands come up overhead, and really reach up, lift the heart, and exhale, swan dive or forward fold all the way down towards the floor, or as close as you can get. Bringing the hands around behind once more, linking the fingers, lift those arms up one more time. Don't worry how high they go. Bending the knees then and rising all the way back up. Remember, press those hands down and away. Chest is lifted. Knees stay soft if you need them to. And this time as you exhale, bring the hands to the sides, palms facing forward for me. And we're just going to take a sway to the left and then to the right. Just releasing the tension through those shoulders. We're halfway through the week. And bringing it back into centre for me. Inhale to bring the arms up overhead. You're going to drop over to that right side for me. Drop onto that left wrist and just give a gentle pull. Keeping those knees soft if you need to. So feeling the stretch this time all through the side on the left. And return it back into centre on the inhale. Drop over to the left hand side. Grab onto that right wrist and give it a pull. Feeling the stretch through the right. One side might be tighter than the other. Inhaling back to centre. One more time, then taking it over to the right. Giving a good stretch here. Try not to hold your breath. And last time, come back to centre before switching sides. So giving that right wrist a gentle pull. Back into centre, open those arms back up to the ceiling before switching swan diving it all the way back down to the floor for me. And then wherever you are on the mat, jump or step it back into that high plank. If that's too much, you can drop down to the knees, either knees or toes, just hold in here. Pressing down through the palms, belly stays pulled in, and gaze stays to the mat for me. 2 more breaths. Before dropping to the knees, if you're not already there, untucking the toes, walking the hands back to bring you back into that tabletop position as you take the knees to the outside edge of the mat. Big toes come back together and return yourself back into that child's pose. So push the weight back, forearms and palms come to the mat. Just resting the head down. So bringing those palms together in front of you, still resting in child's pose. As you inhale, you're going to lift the hands above the head, just to make like a little shark fin above your head. Elbows stay in contact with the mat, and if you can, bring the thumb to the back of the neck for me, to give a slight stretch through the triceps. And if you want to give it a bigger stretch, just ease those elbows forward a little bit, and you should feel more of a stretch through the sides and underneath them through the triceps. As you exhale, return the hands back down to the mat. So little fingers now rest on the floor, hands still in prayer position. One more then. Inhale those hands back up overhead. Thumbs come to kiss the back of the neck if that's possible. Fingers are open. And if there's any more reach in those arms, just ease those elbows a little bit further forward. Keep the bum pressed back towards the heels. Then when you're ready, return the little fingers back to the mat, turn the palms back to face down to the floor, and take the arms to about shoulder width apart for me. Just resting on the floor, concentrating on the breath. Staying in child's pose, come up onto the fingertips for me. So just float that head, forearms off the mat, inching those fingers as far forward as you feel comfortable with. Then you're just going to walk them around to that right side as far as you can. And then hands either stay side by side or left palm on the back of that right hand. So feeling the stretch through the left side of the body here. And walking it back around to centre, remembering the head still floats off the mat for me. And taking it around to that left side, where once more, either hands side by side, or the right one on the back of that left. Feeling the stretch through that right side of the body. And walk yourself back around to centre for me. Still staying on those fingertips. See if you can inch them forward a little bit more. Push the weight of the bum back. And then you're just going to walk the hands back towards the body to bring yourself back up. So you can either bring the knees together and sit on the heels, or if you want to, you can stay up on the knees, whichever is more comfortable for you. From here, take a deep breath in, reach up overhead. If you're sitting back on the heels, come up onto the knees for me. As you exhale, come into child's pose. Inhale into tabletop then. Tucking the toes and lifting into downward facing dog. Dropping the knees back down into that tabletop position as you untuck the toes. Press the weight back to bring you into child's pose. Come up onto the knees, reaching the hands up overhead. And finally bring the palms together and sit it back onto the heels, or stay on the knees with the hands at the heart. We're going to try that one more time. So inhale up, open the hands. Exhale to child's pose. Push the weight back as the hands slide across the mat. Forehead kisses the floor. Inhale into tabletop. Tuck the toes and exhale into downward facing dog. Dropping it back into tabletop for me then, and untuck the toes. Push the weight back and come into child's pose. As you inhale, come up onto the knees, hands come up overhead for a reach, heart's lifted. Bring the palms together and sit it back onto the heels, or stay up on the knees, whichever you feel more comfortable with. I'm just going to walk my knees a little bit further forward. So holding here, concentrating on the breath, and just letting go of any tension as you exhale. So this time then, inhale to bring the arms up overhead. So staying sat back on the heels if you can, don't worry if you're on the knees. Exhale to bring the arms to shoulder level. We're going to twist around to the left, where that left hand is going to come to the floor if you can. The right hand reaches up and the gaze is up to that right hand. So once more, if you need to, you can always place something underneath that left hand to bring the floor up to the hand. So staying here, we're just going to backstroke that right arm for me. So 3 circles. It's 3, 2, last one. Leave the fingers of the right hand pointing to the ceiling before bending that right elbow, and just rest the back of the head into that right palm as you tip the chin up for a slight stretch through the triceps here. And then as you inhale, return both hands back to the thighs for me, gazes forward once more. So inhale to bring the arms up overhead. Exhale to drop them to shoulder level. Twist to the right as you drop that right hand down, left hand rises up. So just taking it to wherever you feel comfortable with today. And then we're going to backstroke that left arm then for 3, 2, last one. To leave those left fingers pointing to the ceiling before bending the left elbow. Resting the head in that left palm as you lift the chin up. Gazing up towards the ceiling. And then when you're ready, return both hands back to the thighs and come back into that tabletop position, where you're going to take those knees hip width apart once more, tuck the toes and come back into downward facing dog for me. Aiming to lift those hips nice and high. Press down through the palms, fingers are open. 2 more breaths here then. From here we're going to jump or step it through into a forward fold. So your choice, however you make it to the front of the mat, that's fine. And then we're going to turn to the long edge of the mat for me. And bend the knees and bring the bum down to the floor. So you can extend those feet out in front, or if you can, just cross your ankles here for me. So sitting up nice and tall, you're just going to make a little basket with the hands, placing them underneath that knee for me. So we're going to give an active stretch here to the legs. So taking a breath in, as you exhale, press down with that knee as you pull up with the hands. So holding here then for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just release it, just let that hip drop. Taking a breath in then. Exhale, press down as you pull up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just let that hip drop. So we're going to cross the legs the other way. So just bring that leg in front. Let's go to the other side. Make a basket out of the hands. Just place it underneath, just below that knee. Inhale here, and as you exhale, press down as you pull up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just release. Just feel that hip drop. Inhale one more time. Exhale, press down as you pull up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just let it go. So you can keep the legs crossed if you want to, or you can place them out in front of you and just place those hands down behind you, pressing the palms into the mat. Just take the shoulders away from the ears as you press that chest forward. Try not to hold your breath. And And then as you exhale, just walk the hands around in front of you and just create a bend in that lower back for me. Just breathing in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. And if you want to, you can take the head side to side or up and down. Whichever you feel comfortable with. Just relaxing into the breath. And then when you're ready, use the hands to bring yourself back up and just rest those hands once more just above the knees for me. Taking the shoulders away from the ears. Just close the eyes here and just concentrating on the breath. As you breathe in, connect the breath to the body, and as you breathe out, just let go of any stress. Just feel the body relax, softening off through the face. Attention to the breath. As you breathe in and breathe out. Into that present moment as you breathe in and breathe out. Two more breaths here then. And this time as you exhale, open up the eyes. Bring the hands to the heart for me. Namaste. Thank you for joining us this Wednesday. We'd like to apologise from the BiGDUG studios for some technical issues that we did have earlier on, but we got there in the end. So we wish you a great rest of the week, and for anybody wanting to join us next week, Tuesday night at 6 p.m. or Wednesdays at 12:30, and next week we'll be concentrating on your abdominals. So if you want to get nice and strong through the core, you know where we'll be. Till then, stay safe and stay flexible.